there's been some back and forth there, but from the interview,
Yes, we are.
good. Freedom, hi, how are you doing? So I know we all must be eager to hear what happened and what it means, the interpretations and all that. So it's pretty straightforward. For a while now, there have been some back and forth on does Josie have the right to get DNA? Does he have the right to ask for it? Under what conditions can he ask for this and all that? So there's been some back and forth there. But from the interview today and from some of the little informations we got one way or the other, it's been established that generally the grandfather doesn't have the right to ask for DNA of the grandson, except it's a matter that relates to inheritance. His own inheritance, I mean the grandfather's inheritance. That's the only time that he can now decide to ask for DNA to be able to show that, oh, this grandson is entitled to my inheritance. Other than that, it's no more than any third party on the street there asking for how you impregnated your wife and all that. We know what the answer to that would be. The other thing that has been established today is that Omaumi has been able to show to the public, show to the court, and show to everybody that she has nothing to hide. She's been hiding nothing all this while. And that's why, ever since this issue of DNA started, she's been the one at the forefront. Even though Josie asked for it on the social media, the young lady said, you know what, let's do this thing by the law, by the rule. Let's follow every process and every step in getting this thing done. And she's been pushing for that ever since. Even with all the social media blackmail and the media manipulations, she's been at it that I want this thing done, but then I want it done the right way. That was why this thing would have been sorted before now, because the young lady has been asking for this, though with some conditions, with some supervisions from the authorities, so that there won't be room for manipulations. Because if you've been subjected to this kind of media manipulation and attacks, you want to be careful when you're dealing with such people. And that's why she's insisted that whatever will happen, it has to be supervised by the government, by the court, by the authorities. And that's what they got out from the court today. Has she been ordered to do the DNA? I can tell you categorically that there was no such order at all. The court doesn't have the power to order women to do a DNA. It will be ultra vires. It will be out of the court's power to give such an order, which, as of today, has now been agreed on by Josie, that Kosomomi has stated that I want this, and this done before I will agree to do this DNA. Because between the lawyers, they've seen that if they go the route of the court making pronouncement or judgment, no DNA pronouncement will be made. No court order to do the DNA will be made. But because this young lady wants to do this, at least to be able to prove to everybody, the whole world, that her hands are clean on this issue, she gave some conditions. Not too stringent conditions. Conditions like, oh, you do this and this comes out, you need to do this, you need to make reparations. You need to repair whatever you have damaged in the past through your various interviews and your media attacks. I don't think that's too much to ask. But of course, knowing these other people for who they are, one of the conditions they were trying to run away from is that these things should not come to the media. Yes, we know these things are delicate matter of the court. You can just discuss it anyhow. So, but I know people will get what I'm trying to say. So they've been opposed to it, to people discussing this on the social media, just so people will know they've been lying all this while. But it was insisted upon that this thing will be discussed when the result is out. People will know. Since you have brought this to the public, there's no way you can say you want to take it back now. You have opened the door already. People needs to know whatever the result is when it comes out already. It's been running away from that. But through the arbitration and mediation today, that was part of what was agreed upon. So before today, both agreed upon. And then the judge could not do anything but to confirm from among me who all these things will impact. That have you agreed to this? Do you want to do this? Is this your wish? Are you being forced? You know, the regular questions like, we just want to know this. This is coming from your own free will, because without that, we cannot proceed, which is the law. And among me, yearning for this all this while, having sleepless night because of this, quickly stood up and said, you know what? Yes, that's what I want. As long as these conditions have been met, as long as the government has agreed to supervise this particular process, as long as I've been assured that there won't be any form of manipulation here, as long as I've been assured that whatever the result is, our people outside there needs to know, because they've been on this for a while now. As long as I've been assured that no one will come to my child, as long as I've been assured that whatever damage that have been made to my name, they will make attempts, good attempts to repair it. That yes, I want it. So by saying that, the answer of the judge was tied. There's nothing else the judge could have done. You've brought something here. This other person say, you know what, give it to him, I want it. Based on these conditions, and they've agreed on the conditions, there's nothing else the judge could do but to just say, you know what, go on, I will appoint somebody to monitor this process for you guys. Go to that person and ensure this thing is done, and follow everything that has been agreed here. And part of that agreement was making sure after it's done, the right people should know, while protecting the child also, making sure people that have been defamed, whoever have defamed them needs to retract whatever statement they said, needs to apologize. And if eventually they need to be sued, that will not stop them from being sued, because that was part of it too. Trying to play that, even if this happens, he wanted to take a right away from suing him or from seeking some form of compensation on whatever he has said in the past. So, but then the court took away that right, that you don't have that right. If you've truly done something and the result comes out to prove you wrong on what you have said, I will not take this person's right away to sue. So all those now have been agreed upon, and that's what brought about that interview from Omawumi's lawyer. That's more like he gave the summary without touching too much on the specifics of the issue. So for those wondering if a judgment or a pronouncement has been made, no pronouncement was made. An agreement was reached that will be supervised by the court, and whoever goes back to not to honor the agreement, that person will have themselves to be blamed.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, because I'm still trying to understand how this would what verdict the court would give on this. Is it that, as in, how will the court interpret this? Is it that the court will say, oh, it was thrown out, there was no judgment given, as in, because there cannot be all of these things without a conclusion from the part of the court.
The conclusion is that a deal has been made. You go to court, you make deals. So a deal has been made in courts, and the matter has been settled out of courts. That is the meaning. But then the agreement they made will be supervised by the courts. I don't know if that answers your question, Freedom.
Yeah, it does, darling. I'm just going to see how Punch wants to report this now.
Oh, you know their usual madness, but Mr.
Yeah, sorry, Lilith,
Lawyer,
please.
okay.
Let me quickly say something. I saw Mufasa's comment now saying, why are they upset? Because they can't manipulate the DNA. Yes, because they can't manipulate it. I don't know if I have to say this. Mr. Vatagra's lawyer, maybe I should just keep quiet because then they were trying to push like, they already have maybe trying to say I have my own doctor to take in charge, to be charge of it, and which our lawyer said no to. So that might be part of what is making them to go gaga. So I keep quiet. I'm sorry about that if I have said too much.
Their own doctor. She won't share it.
Lawyer of TikTok, please.
She won't share it. Lilibet just vent you. Sorry, no, Daru. How can they have their own doctor?
Yeah, that's part of the manipulations they've put in place, the mechanisms they've set in rolling, that even when the young lady agrees to this, they'll push for this one too, so that eventually she'll still have to fall into their trap. And the lawyer and Omomi, they saw that coming from a long mile too, and they were well prepared for it. Part of it was them trying to push that the court should bar them from taking this to the media when the result comes out. If you've come out to tell your fans that, oh, why are you afraid that when the result comes out, they shouldn't go back to the media to say, why are you afraid? That's what you should be pushing for. So for you to now be saying, no, the court should stop anybody from bringing the result to the media or something, then you know there's something to hide. Or if you've now started making different arrangements so that you will be in custody, the first line, you'll be in the front row to have access to these results, to be able to manipulate these results one way or the other through your own agents. So all these things they've tried to put in motion. In fact, they've put them in motion, waiting for the court to just agree to it, or the lawyers to overlook it and say, you know what, that's fine. But then they could see all their play from afar.
Mr. Pythagoras, as in these justice people, they probably need deliverance. If by now they cannot sit down to evaluate this case and see that this man has just been using their brains and milking them with this so-called DNA. He doesn't want DNA. He has never wanted it. With what his lawyers pleaded for today, it's very obvious he doesn't want DNA. I'm sure he was even praying that they won't grant it so that he'll keep milking them. Well,
funny enough, just reacting that he doesn't want it. One of the conditions he was putting there was, he needs to be in this child life.
Whoa.
Yeah. thinking that would be rebuffed or that would be rejected so that they can have a ground to say yes. Then if they can't do that, then we can't do it. Let's keep dragging this. But
because
then,
why, if you really wanted DNA, why are you now telling these millions of fans, or if it's thousands, I don't care, when you've told them for months that no, that child is not your child, he's got bow legs, DNA is a must, no burial without DNA. So why are you coming out to say they shouldn't know? Why are you begging the courts not to let them know? These are the same people that have contributed thousands of dollars in the name of DNA and all rubbish. But the part I really wanted you to speak about is the part that he said that whatever he had said before should be forgiven and she won't have the right to sue him. Please, I need to hear that again. Like, is this man joking?
Yeah, like he's trying to, cause he had to apologize first. The other time when the issue was on, that the court asked them to make it a family issue, and nobody should really talk about it until the court makes a decision or until the result is out. But after that time, he went to Berekete, and Berekete was saying he was going to get the DNA one way or the other, like he would force Omomi to get the DNA. So that matter got to the judge, that Josie went to Berekete, and Berekete was saying he has more power than the judge. And they had to make him apologize for that to Omowumi, because it was at that point that Omowumi now said, you know what, let's go the long stretch. If this thing is going to take 10 years, let's go the 10 years. So he had to apologize then. That's when Omowumi now decided again that, you know what, yeah, we will do it. Just fulfill these conditions. So all these things he has done, he has said in the past. He feels apologized that because he's apologized to Omowumi for Berekete issue, that should cover for every other thing he has been saying about Omowumi and about her child. But then, it's not like Omowumi has made up her mind to say, you know what, I will sue you for this, I will charge you for this. But the court is saying you cannot preempt her and take away her rights. Whether she's going to sue you in the future after this result comes out or not, that will be her prerogative. That will be her decision to make. You cannot take it out of her hands. You cannot force her to surrender that right. You don't have that standing to force her to surrender that right to you. And because he himself, he knows what he's been doing. He knows the extent of the damage, reputation damage that he's made. He knows the depth of his own defamation against Omowumi. That's why he's been afraid that there'll be repercussions when the result come out. That's why he's saying the court should take away that right. And the court has told him no. Deal with it when that time comes.
Wow. Good job to that judge. So Josie, right now, just go and be looking for billions because Omowumi is coming for you. Liam is coming for you. You must pay. You can't do this and you think it's okay. It's not okay to what you've done to that boy.